There are many paranoid and panicked men out there that are thinking they're going bald, but the thing is, the majority of these people are not balding. I see a lot of young dudes on TikTok with the most crisp and straight hairlines and just thick and dense hair asking if they're going bald because they see a very minor cowlick on their crown. So in today's video, I wanted to go over the actual signs that your hair is actually starting to go. And the first sign that you are actually someone who is experiencing hair loss all comes down to your hairline. Okay, I mean, you guys all knew this was going to be mentioned in this video. This is often where the early signs of hair loss begin in most men, but not everyone. Most men suffering from male pattern baldness will have the hair on their temples recede, which leaves sort of like an M shape on their hairline. And this can be either extreme or relatively minor. So let's look at guys like Sting, Jude Law, Nicolas Cage. Jude Law being an extreme one, as you can tell. He has one of the most receded M-shaped hairlines I've ever seen. However, before you go out and obsess over your possibly receding hairline, I really want to stress something. Not everyone has a straight, thin, crisp hairline. So many men make this mistake. They think the fact that they don't have a completely straight hairline means that they have a receding hairline and that they're losing their hair. That's why when it comes to hair loss, it is never a good idea to compare yourself to others. What you need to do instead is compare yourself to your older self. Look at older pictures of yourself, as I'm sure most of you guys have. Do you have less hair on your temples than you did before? Is your hairline noticeably different than before? And look, some of you might have jacked up hairlines, but if you've always had a jacked up hairline, that means you're not losing your hair. So if you do notice that your hairline looks different and it looks receded compared to your old hairline, then yes, this could be the first sign that you are someone that is experiencing hair loss. Sign number 2 is the length of your shedding hairs. This sign is super overlooked, but it is an extremely important sign so you can understand how losing your hair actually works compared to other people who lose hair, because everyone you know, men and women, lose about 100 hairs a day. Whether you're losing your hair or not, it's a completely normal thing that happens. But what's not normal is when your hair miniaturizes and starts to burn off. Yes, contrary to popular belief, your hair does not just slowly start to fall out. It actually miniaturizes and then falls out. This is caused by your genetic response to DHT presence in your scalp. So if you are someone with medium to longer hair and you're finding short little hairs in the shower after you're done, this is a sign that your hair is miniaturizing and you are in fact suffering from male pattern baldness. But again, just because you have hair falling out in the shower does not mean you're suffering hair loss. Just make sure to evaluate whether or not those hairs that you're losing are smaller than what your actual hair is. Sign number 3 is your thinning at the crown. Okay, this might actually be the number one mistake that most guys make because they confuse their cowlick with actual thinning at your crown. I want to very explicitly go over the difference between the two and how to find out which one you have. So for starters, balding doesn't usually occur at the crown. So that means if you have very thick hair and you have a perfectly straight hairline and you might see a cowlick at your crown, then it's probably just a cowlick and you have nothing to worry about. So a cowlick is when a section of hair stands straight up, or if it kind of like shifts and goes a different direction that your hair is supposed to. And this can result in a swirl type pattern at the crown where you can see just a little tiny bit of your scalp. So if you look at this chart and you have a Norwood 1 hairline, and a lot of density, thickness, and volume across the rest of your scalp, I'm saying you're 100% in the clear. Like there's nothing for you to worry about. So in other words, just because you have a part at the crown where you can see your scalp does not mean you are balding. Sign number 4 is diffuse thinning. And this occurs when your hair is actually starting to go. So diffuse thinning means the diminishing or shedding of the hair across your scalp. And unfortunately, this can take place all around the top of your head. The hairline, the crown, and in between. because a lot of men won't pay as close attention to the things above, like their hairline going back or the length of their shedding hairs. Most men will notice diffuse thinning whether it be standing under light and then realizing their hair looks very thin and they can basically see their scalp. But it can also be noticed by men who style their hair with products, and they'll notice that your hair does not hold as well and overall just feels weak and pretty thin. Sign number 5 is what you'll find when you have wet hair. So when your hair is wet, that is honestly the main revealer of your density, your hair's thickness, the volume, and any potential thinning. And most guys will notice their hair loss when their hair is wet. So when your hair is wet and you have complete coverage over your scalp, like you can't see your scalp at all, you obviously have nothing to worry about. You have a whole healthy head of hair. On the flip side, if you notice that you can see way more of your scalp when you get out of the shower than you used to before, this is a sign that some sort of recession or some sort of thinning is going on in your hair. Now, with that being said, it's no secret that wet hair sort of clumps together. So yes, you might see more of your scalp when it's wet than when it's dry. Take your wet hair now and compare that to your wet hair in the past. And if you can see more of your scalp now than in the past, that is a sign you are losing your hair. Sign number 6 is your family's history. So a lot of you are probably already aware that male pattern baldness is hereditary and it comes from your family's genetics, but there are a lot of myths out there regarding this concept, such as balding always comes from the maternal side, or that balding skips a generation. These are both completely false and just not true. However, analyzing especially the male side of your family and looking at their hair is a good way for you to determine whether or not you'll suffer from male pattern baldness in the future. So look at your dad, grandpa, uncles, cousins, brother, whatever. And also keep in mind this way is not indefinite. So there is a chance that your dad could go bald, but you may never experience it. And vice versa. Your dad might have a full head of hair, but you might go bald in the future. You just never really know. And I just wanted to add this one as the last one because it's the most talked about, but I'd honestly say the other 5 are way more effective than this one. Hopefully this video helped out in determining whether or not you are actually going bald. And if you are someone after this video realizing that you are going bald, then best of luck to you, brother. There are ways you can help reduce that. If you want me to make a video talking about that, leave a comment down below. And if you want to see more videos on how you can fully max out your hair, I'll leave one right here. Make sure to check out my channel, and I will see y'all in the next one.